Alright, let's talk about Brandon Sanderson's Mormonism again. About a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video about how I thought it was unfair that some people criticized Brandon Sanderson for injecting some of his Mormon philosophies into his books. And while most people seem to agree with that point, a lot of people correctly pointed out that the main criticism they had of Brandon Sanderson was the fact that he donates a lot of money to the Mormon church. And a lot of the people who had this criticism also said that they did not want to buy Brandon Sanderson's books or otherwise financially support his works because they didn't want their money going to the Mormon church either directly or indirectly. And I want to say two things about that. First of all, if that's your position, I completely respect it. It's completely valid. It's completely understandable. And I think that's your prerogative and you have every right to do that. And in fact, I think it's honorable and I encourage you to continue doing that. While it might not seem like a big deal to some people, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are incredibly hurt, both figuratively and literally, by a lot of the things that the Mormon church lobbies for. So you shouldn't be faulting those people for not wanting to financially support them in any way. Second thing I want to say is that I personally don't adhere to that policy. Maybe obviously, given the amount of Brandon Sanderson books I have on my shelves. Because frankly, I think it would be incredibly hypocritical of me to do so. As most of you probably would have guessed, I'm a practicing Muslim and I go to Friday prayers every Friday. And almost every single time I go, I donate a little money to the masjid that I end up going to. And the reason I donate is because these masjids do offer me a place to pray. And they also do a lot of other things for the communities that they serve that I very much agree with and want to financially support. At the same time, I can guarantee that almost every single masjid I've ever been to and donated to has preached some things that I very much disagree with. But for me, the decision I make is that I should still be donating to these places because again, they offer me a place to pray. And I agree with the vast majority of what they do and preach. I assume the calculus is very much similar for Brandon Sanderson. Now, I do want to pause here and acknowledge that there is a big difference between me donating a little money to every masjid I go to versus Brandon Sanderson donating a lot of money to the Mormon church. And that's because Islam doesn't really have a centralized church the way the Catholics or the Mormon church does. And I think that does make a bit of a difference. The other main difference is that I'm not donating anywhere near the amount of money Brandon Sanderson actually donates to the Mormon church. His money goes a lot further than mine does. But again, personally, the decision I end up landing on is that it would be hypocritical for me to boycott Brandon Sanderson for the reason that he donates some of his money to the Mormon church. I can understand that some people disagree with that and some people obviously reach a different conclusion. Obviously, I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts, but again, please be respectful in the comments. I understand a lot of people are really passionate about this subject and it's good to have these discussions, but let's just be respectful. Now drop a follow and go subscribe on YouTube or else.